My name is Mike Perez. I'm the vocalist for No Bragging Rights.
And what are you doing here in beautiful Honolulu?
We're playing a show here tonight in Honolulu. First time ever playing a show in Hawaii, so we're excited. It's most of my band members' first time in Hawaii, period. So very cool. I've been here a few times, family trips and stuff. But,
Okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I said the last time I talked to you, it was during Cycle. Cycles that just come out, or was about to come out. I think it was last year or something. And we're gonna get the motorcycle thing. And when you were on stage, you mentioned the idea behind Cycles.
Okay, it's a literal conversation I had with my dad. I was explaining to him how one of our buddies is just a really violent dude, and we had to cut songs out of our set and all this, and my dad, my dad was kind of upset about that, and I was like, no, it's fine. He's had a rough childhood, Dad. You don't understand. Like, he's gone through this and that. And I knew things about my grandpa, my dad's dad, which is funny. I never really referred to him as a grandpa.
Yeah.
And my dad, I just knew that my dad had come up from a rough childhood, but I never really knew details about it. Just that my dad's father drank and stuff, and whatever. But my dad, told me about like how he'd been abused, and really gnarly stories that him and my aunts had to go through, and like stuff I didn't know about my dad that really it really hit me, because if my dad is like the most gentlest, kindest person ever, patient beyond everything, and for him to tell me that there was a time that he was kind of worried about having kids, because he's like, I don't know what it's like to be a dad. I never had that role model in my life, and to hear my dad talk about that, and for him to tell me, people, bad things happen to people, which is it sucks, and things that you never asked for, things that you can't control beyond, but he said that the thing that he grew up with and that he held on to was that he could control how he would move forward from these things, and when my dad told me that, it just my dad was already up here, and when he told me that, my dad was like a superhero. He's on this planet, just because, and that's when I talk about it at the show, talk about it as change, and you have that opportunity, regardless of what you've had happen to you in the past. You don't have to, because you were hurt doesn't mean you have to hurt now. Because you were hurt, that means you can love, because you know what it's like to be hurt. And my dad told me that, he taught me that, and so as soon as the music came around, I was able to write on it, and it's a conversation I have with my dad.
That can be the worst thing that could happen to somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have your father to look up to, I mean, no wonder people will turn up to be like, whatever.
For sure.
And it's not an excuse, but nobody knows what people go through if you haven't lived through them. Even if you have, everybody's got their own circumstances. And I found that interesting. Did you change after you were born? You know what I mean? Like, was there a...
No, dude, what's crazy about this, and my mom's talked to me about this too,
Okay.
My dad's always just had a really quiet nature about him and stuff.
Okay.
And there's times where I didn't realize it growing up, because I'm just a dumb little kid, and just I had my moments as a kid. I guess there's been times in my life where my dad, I guess, would kind of feel like not that you lose control, but he kind of be like, Martha, you need to handle this. You know what I mean? Because he just didn't. I don't think he was it's coming up. That's why I have that quote in our song. I know I have that same weakness inside me, but I have the strength to control it. Yeah. So, and that's just because my dad would tell me that. He's like, every now, I'm human. I get, I feel, get this way, but I have to rethink, get set back. And my dad's pastor, so for him he pulls his strength from God, and that's what he said helped him a lot, And so for me, my dad has been the most consistent person in my life. You know what I mean? Both my parents. If they've told me they've never fought, I've never seen them fight. And I believe it. In my mind, I'm like, dude, there has been times they've, I've never seen it. I don't know, dude. My dad, like I said, my dad, especially my dad, my mom too. My mom is incredible strong woman. Because she's the one who would deal out the spankings and stuff, mostly. But with my dad's just been super patient, dude. And like I said, my dad's a pastor, and I started out in the punk rock scene. You know what I mean? And for my dad to allow me to step back and let me become who I'm going to be, and let me do my thing. Like, it's another just thing that just blows my mind about my dad. You know what I mean? Like, for him to let me do this. You know what I mean? Because my family set me up to do, you know, go to school, go to college, and all that. Like, they set me up. I had it, all that. But I chose to do music.
You had expectations of what your parents should be.
Yeah.
Right? And
yeah.
they were supposed to be archaic and, you know, rigid and conservative.
Yeah.
Where did you get those ideas from if you were raised by them? Where did that come from? Like, you know, do you ever think about that?
Yeah,
Like,
well, you know what though? I feel like a lot of it comes from, in a weird way, a lot of my personality and everything I do comes from my parents and my brother. Because for me, my brother was, like my brother, another person in my life, just my hero. My brother's my best friend. There's things my brother did that just like shook me to the core in the sense of like, man, you are a rebel. Like my brother was an athlete star at our school, and like when it came time for college, everyone thought he'd go to our local college and carry his thing there. But he ended up going up north and leaving and everything. And I was just like, you had it made here, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of weird, like thinking about it, but like my brother left. You know, he didn't want to. He's like, and the thing in his mind, he's like, I did what I need to do here. I want to do something else.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he was in college, he's like, he told my parents, hey, I want to go to Spain. So he went to Spain for a year. And again, for me, like, dude, your Spanish sucks, dude. We don't speak Spanish. You know, like, and you're gonna go there, like, so seeing my brother take these leaps and like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that really impacted me young, and because we're like 5 years apart, 5.5 years apart. So I feel like that had a big impact on me, and then just things that like about pursuing music and staying hard about it. Like my mom and my dad, but my mom, when she's like setting on an idea and she has like goals for herself, like she goes out hard. Like my mom is relentless. Like she won't sleep until things are done. You know what I mean? Like that kind of attitude, which I never really adopted or applied to like my schoolwork, which sucks, or like a lot of things in my life. But when I found music and I found that, like I feel like I approached it with my mom's fire, and I feel like I was able to stick with it with my like my dad's like discipline. My dad's so disciplined, dude. Like, yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Most teenagers at the age of 14 to 16 go through this rebellion phase where they rebel against anything that's authority.
Sure.
I had the same luck as you, who had great parents, and I never turned on my parents, and I am still super friends with my parents. What happens with a lot of teenagers is that they have a huge argument with their father most of the time, and that relationship has been severed forever because men have a hard time saying sorry, saying they love each other, say, you know, let the past be the past. How is your relationship with your father today? And did you have anything when you were like 15, 14 rebellions against him, or was it like...
Yeah, I had rebellions with both my parents, and a lot of it was, the thing that sucks, a lot of it is my own fault, and I knew that. And but of course, you know, I wouldn't admit that openly. A lot of my rebellion came with them because, you know, expectations. Like they wanted me to do these things, and it was a real hard, because they'd step, like they let me be me, and I think that's the difference I had growing up in my life, was that even if my dad would be upset with me and like there's something he didn't like even shows I had to go to, or the bands I was listening to, the shirts I was wearing, you know, my dad or my mom, they would tell me like straight out, like, dude, I don't like that. Like I don't like that at all. Like, I love you, but I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like they tell me, and I'd get upset and I'd get offended, you know. But at the same time, like it was really hard for me to stay mad at them because of how just like loving and accepting they were. Like, and my brother's another one too. Like my brother's like, dude, like if for you to get kicked out, because I always talk about like, oh, Trey Chin leaving, you know, or like, when I do this, I'm gonna take off. My brother's like, dude, you're stupid, man. Like, you realize like our parents do everything for you, and like, oh, that's whatever. So like, I had my brother also kind of keeping me in check, and but now, do my relationship with my parents, it's awesome, man. And that's what, like, I feel like when we do our thing, we talk to kids, and I meet kids who don't have that. What I have, I really do. You know, I want to realize how blessed and how rare it is. And one, that my parents still together. Two, that they're very loving, supportive. You know, like, and for the kids who don't have that, my hopes is when I talk to them and I tell them you build a better future for yourself. You can have those things, man. Like you may have not had it, but you can have that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's my hopes are for them. That's what I hope I have in my life at some point. But dude, like I've never been closer to my parents, dude. Like for as older I am now, and like they're like so about like being involved in my life now. It's just I would have never thought, dude. Like my mom had to learn, both my parents had to learn to text because I don't talk on the phone, so they both learned to text. They both learn like lingo, so they can ask me like questions that I will answer, and I won't be like, oh, mom, like, you know what I mean? Like, how was the draw tonight? What, you know, did you guys get? Was there catering? Did you guys do this and that? You know, what time was load-in? Did you guys get to go sightseeing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I've been in the band long enough, so they know how to talk about it. And, you know, even now, my respect for my parents is even higher, and I'm super blessed, dude. Like, and they've helped me. It's kind of weird that they're a big reason why I'm still even able to do music now. You know what I mean? After so long, we started in '99.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of cool that they're as supportive as they are, even years later. You know what I mean? And they're like, you know, like my mom and dad I've heard them like, you know, and I've had people bring it back to me like, dude, your mom was like telling so and so about that you're like on the East Coast right now. You know what I mean? Or like my cousins will be like, yeah, you know, you're heard your dad and mom telling people that, you know, you're going on your first European tour. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So like hearing it, like, I don't know, hearing it from other people, it's been really cool, man. So.
Now we're going to ask the question I usually ask at the beginning, and what's on your mind socially or politically? Are you thinking about anything specific? Are you like concerned about anything going on in this country right now?
Dude, I straight up, man, like with all the like government closing and all that stuff, dude, like this doesn't sound, it's like it really, I don't know if it's a defeatist way to think, but like for myself, like it's so, like the things that I do read about and I hear about, it's so like disheartening in the world that like I feel like for myself, I don't involve myself in it.
Okay.
My focus now is the people that I read in everyday life, and when I talk about suicide and depression, like it's made my focus on that even more so, because I just feel like there's people like being in a band and a musician, like we do feel the hit in the economy because kids aren't buying merch, and our value to play shows has gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, we feel it on that end, but like that's such a small part of what it is, man. I just every day I'm dealing with people who are depressed, people losing their jobs and stuff like that, and I feel like there's not a whole lot of aid that I can give them as far as like, you know, hey, you know, economy advice or stuff. So, you know, I don't have that. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But I can tell them that like, dude, like your life, yeah. Like when they tell me, dude, my life sucks, and I'm like, yeah, it does, dude. Like it does, but it can, you know, it can get better and all. I feel like my focus is more I've honed in more on what our message is as a band, just because we're like the world media and like just putting it on the news now. It's like it gives me anxiety, dude. Like especially our news, like in the United States, it's like scare tactic, dude. Like everything is just be scared, and like it's dude, it's like Christians are more politically conscious member, and every now and then he'll just put stuff on for us, and it's just like,
you know, you spoke about depression and suicide. Mm-hmm. There's a guy named Durkheim who wrote a famous book on suicide. He talks about, you know, what is really suicide? I mean, people kill themselves, and how do you consider yourself killing yourself? By killing yourself right off the bat, or by slowly killing yourself through alcohol, drugs,
cigarettes,
living dangerously by driving without a helmet, or you know. Mm-hmm. And you know, societal pressures, you know, what makes people kill themselves. So you're still dealing with societal problem. I mean, you're still dealing with the largest problem is suicide and depression. I mean, people do so many things because of depression and because they don't want to live anymore because of the situation. I mean, it's still affected by the economics. I mean, the economic creates the situation you were talking about. Mm-hmm. It's not your personal thing. It's not your fault that you're depressed. You know,
sure.
It's like somebody's, you know, at one point manipulating this stuff. So it's interesting to know about suicide. You know, like some people believe suicide is something you do right off the bat on your own, but it's just suicidal. I mean, people.
Dude, yeah, it's like you've got to take like for somebody to get to that point. It's like like you said, it didn't just be like, oh, today sucks, I'm gonna go do. No, it's like, dude, that's something that's happened over time until they got to that point where, you know, because a lot of time people will talk about it or it's in their minds, and then, you know, most people don't do it. You know, they don't go through with it. But like I had a conversation actually with one of my good friends about this. You know, people say it's such a like it's a selfish act and it's weakness, dude. Like, yes, I do agree with those, but dude, to do it and go through with it, that's also probably the most strongest thing you could do. I don't, you know what I mean? Like not to make it in a positive.
Not
thing.
glorifying it at all.
Yeah, not glorifying it at all. But it's like, dude, that's that moment. I'll you know, I've had obviously my downtimes, but I don't know what it's like to be in that moment yet. You know, and then to, you know, what is it that goes off and you're like, it's happening. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or and the strength to do it, or the strength to be like, no, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, I feel like it's still strength on both ends. I don't want to glorify it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like
but the aspect of people's lifestyle is auto-destructive.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is not. I mean, if you call somebody who commits suicide weak, what is your call for smoking or drinking and driving?
Right.
Like,
or eating fatty foods, or
you know, like suicide from reckless living to, you know, people killing themselves. You know, so you know that's always
delayed suicides.
Yeah. And that's what Durkheim is. We're slowly killing each other. I mean, global warming, right? Or, you know, world war. I mean, if that's not collective suicide, I mean, and we're going for it.
Yeah,
right?
we're going for it hard.
Like me and you, I mean, I don't know you, but I like to read it, but I'm not in the front line trying to stop people from, you know, chaining myself to trees. Those guys, to me, those guys are amazing. I mean, but because they're just, so it's just, you know, it's always, that brings to mind is, you're not, to me, it's like you're not disconnected from those political problems. It's just actually you're more connected because you deal with them at first hand. But there's something out there. I want to talk about cycles. That's the latest thing you've had, right? This is the latest thing. Okay. So talk about cycles, the latest release.
Okay, cycles. Well, we're already
musically. I mean, you know.
Dude, it was just one of those things where it took us like a year and a half, I think, to like finally get it going. But we had a year and a half to figure out what the direction we wanted to go, because we've always been kind of all over the place, you know. And I feel like for cycles, we were really able to step down and step back and be like, what do we do well? You know, what's our, like, what do we do as a band? Like, and we kind of, I feel like we didn't recreate the wheel. We didn't do anything out of the norm for us. I don't feel. We just really focused on things that were natural to us and things that we excel at. Oh, nice. Okay. And like, you know, I feel like Daniel and Martin just hit it on the head as far as music goes. Yeah. You know, because we knew, okay, we're gonna be fast. We need to be punk rock fast, not metal fast. Yeah. If we're gonna be heavy, let's be hardcore heavy, not like metalcore heavy. Yeah. You know, and you know, and it's. I feel like on the music aspect, it was very what we do well. You know what I mean? Like we kind of stepped back and we were like, dude, we're not gonna be like the most technical breakdown band. That's just not. And that's not fun to us, you know, the rocking out, you know, it's cool, it looks cool and it sounds cool, but we realized like, dude, that's not us. For myself, vocally, on my end, you know, I tried to, you know, I feel like, I always had this like, oh dude, we tour with like heavy bands. I feel like that's gonna be what our life is, we're gonna tour with these heavy bands. Yeah. So like, on our album before Illuminator, like I tried to like scream deeper, you know, and I tried to do things like that. And I tried doing it live and it just it wasn't working for me, man. So like, I just took whatever it's kind of humbling, but I was like, you know what, this is my scream, this is where it's at. I know when I'm taking it too low or I'm taking it too high, like I know that, and I'm gonna live here, because that's where it's comfortable for me. That's where my voice, I feel I'm protecting myself too, and you know, I just it kind of worked out. I feel like it was the first time I was getting like complimented on my screaming. Like I ask anyone, people were like, "Oh, you're screaming good." I'm like, "Dude, I'm just screaming."
I think you got a beautiful voice when you sing too.
Thank you. Yeah, see, and that's what like I actually like would like I work towards. Like I want to be a better singer. You know what I mean? Screaming's cool. Like it's fun, and it definitely gets a lot of this out. And but you know, and same thing with singing, man. Like I'm not gonna sound like Anthony Green or Mars Volta. You know, I'm not gonna hit those notes. That's not my voice. Yeah. You know, and so I kind of feel like, again, I know where my limits are, and I'll push them, but I still want to. I know where I excel at, and I want to really. I feel like Cycles is just us kind of finally being like, hey, this is us. This is like what we are and what we're good at, and this is, I feel like us finally hitting on all cylinders. Everyone having the same idea, and then lyric content is just like not as selfish for me, because everything is like what I'm mad about, Cycles as a whole is a lot of just doing life with friends and family, like all the Cycles, the song Cycles, about my dad, like we just talked about. Hope Theory is about just conversations that I've had with tons of friends, being on both ends of those conversations, encouraging and being encouraged. I just feel like as a whole, the album it wasn't just me,
Okay, cool.
which made me even more proud of it, because it's like, I don't know, I guess like, I have ideas and stuff, but I wrote about things that I was literally seeing on a daily basis,
What's next for you guys in terms of tour and all that stuff, recording wise? I mean, new stuff, or
we go home, and we're doing a pretty cool tour. We're going out with Winds of Plague. It's their headliner.
Yeah, cool.
It's just gonna be West Coast. It's like I don't even know if it's 2 weeks. It might be 2 weeks. It's just a West Coast run, which is awesome. And it's Winds of Plague and Impending Doom is like the direct support. And what's the name of the other band? I'm gonna shoot ahead. I think there's even 2 other bands. Fuck.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna blame it on jet lag.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But
Hawaii Sun.
Yeah. So we're doing that cool tour, and that's gonna end our year. And then we're playing on that tour. Also, we're doing like a last show, the Glass House, like a big festival thing. And then next year we our first tour is a European headliner. Which I don't like. I feel like we're not ready for it, but someone thinks we are, so we're gonna do it. And then a lot of just writing for the new album.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So hopefully April is our block time that we're hoping to hit the studio and record. So I'm excited about that too. I've already.
Oh, cool.